All right, let's go ahead and get started. So today is September 9, 2021. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. As a reminder, this meeting is public, recorded, and posted on YouTube. The agenda for the meeting is posted in the meeting invite. There's a link there. Feel free to add any items as we go through. We have a section at the bottom for any PRs that need attention, design reviews, or anything miscellaneous that you may want to talk about. Main topic of discussion, we're going to go over the 123 planning spreadsheet, go over the items that we've committed to for 123. Please be aware of the timeline for the 123 release. Today is September 9th, which is the enhancement freeze. This means that any features that go in to 123, any new features must be declared with the release team. You must have your KEP approved and signed off on and being tracked in the release team spreadsheet. So if you have any features going in 123, please be aware of this deadline. The next upcoming deadline, November 16th, will be code freeze. That'll be when all the features must be complete by in terms of coding. So let's go ahead and switch over to our spreadsheet and we can start getting status updates. All right, so first item that we have here is delegate FS group to CSI driver instead of kubelet. This is moving from alpha to beta. And dev lead here was Chang, API reviewer Hamant. Anyone on the call able to give a status update here?
Yeah, so the PRR for the KEP has merged. So that's the only element needed for the enhancement freeze.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Chang. I'm gonna update the date here to 9/9. Okay, next item is non-recursive volume ownership, FS group. Matt Carey or Jan, any updates on this?
Sorry, this is Hemant here. Actually, yeah, the KEP was updated to target GA, and we just had to kind of flip the feature gate. That's all, mostly.
Got it. Okay, so we're good for enhancement freeze here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Hemant. Next up is config FS group policy and CSI driver object.
Yeah, this kept merged too. So the PRR was approved and targeting GA.
Awesome. Thank you. Next item is CSI online offline resizing volume expansion, update KEP and fix issues, copy allow volume expansion from storage class to PV.
So the KEP for recovery from resize failure got merged, and the future of the copying allow volume expansion from field from SC to PV is uncertain because we tried to seek feedback from API reviewers, like whether, but it's basically it changes the API and it's kind of we are blocked on that. So I'm not sure if we even will be able to do that. And other than that, yeah, the main thing blocking recovery, the volume expansion going G is recovery from resize failure, for which the KEP was merged. I think we have a design. We'll work on it.
Should we continue to track this for the 123 release or drop it?
Hang on, sorry, I just lost my screen. We could just, like, we don't have to track it. We can track it again in next quarter, actually, item number 5. Yeah.
Got it.
Nothing specific we are doing for it.
Okay. So basically, we didn't make do it. So did not make enhancement freeze can come back next quarter. Okay, and then for the next item, you said volume expansion GA is blocked, but you have a design.
For the next item, the recovery from expansion failure, and then yeah, we have a design. It got merged, but yeah, we'll work on this implementation of it.
Got it. Okay.
I think that one is merged. It's not blocked.
The recovery from resize failure?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's merged.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let me mark that correctly. I'm going to mark that as strike through, and then so the CEP here is merged and work will be in progress for 123.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item is issues related to assuming volumes or mount points.
No further update from the previous one, so I'll try to work on it soon in the next release.
Got it. Cool. Okay. Next item is PVC inline ephemeral volumes. Work with CSI driver. Any updates on that? Moving it from beta to GA. Did the CEP get merged?
Yeah, that's merged.
Cool. And then we're going to move over to volume group API. Any updates on that?
So I'm actually waiting for Humble because there were some comments on that cap. I'll ping him.
Got it.
On that.
Okay. Thank you, Shing. Next item is CSI out of tree, move the iSCSI driver, fit and finish, image building, testing, CI/CD documentations. And this is assigned to Humble right now. Humble, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me, Saad?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so the library, CSI lib iSCSI, which CSI driver iSCSI repo consumes, looks to be broken in various code paths. So many of the issues have been fixed locally at my end, and is progressing to get the driver G at 2023 timeframe. I also noticed a PR in library repo, which also addressed few of the issues. So just to coordinate and get the library in good shape, I was scheduled a meeting with the PR owner tomorrow. Based on the discussion, I'll file a few PRs and move towards the release. So it's in progress, and many things to fix on. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Humble. Next item is the Samba SIFs CSI driver.
Nice.
Andy, Julie. Are either of you on the line? Anyone have an update on the Samba SIFs driver? Okay, we're going to mark that as no update. Next item is send out deprecation notice for the flex volume. So last update here. Shing, we'll talk to Michelle and Jan. Any update on this?
Not yet. I need to talk to them.
No rush. Okay. Next item is PVC volume snapshot namespace transfer. Mustafa?
I think he is off for some personal reasons. So I think he will, when he comes back, he said he's still interested in working on this.
Got it.
We'll be around for a while.
Okay, sounds good. Let's Let's mark it no update for now. Okay, next item is CSI volume health, additional metrics and or events, and followed by programmatic response. You want to start with additional metrics, Shane?
Yeah, so the cap is merged, but I think we're still doing the alpha because the change is different from what we have already made. Yes, it's still alpha.
Got it. Okay. Doing another alpha since API changed. So let's mark this as alpha 2.
And the next one, I have not heard from Nick. I will ping him. He's
Okay.
supposed to finish up with the write-up.
Okay. Next up is volume populator data source. Ben?
Going to beta in 1.23. That's
Awesome.
going to involve adding metrics to the controller and the library for populators, and doing a beta release.
Kep was merged, approved.
Yeah, this morning.
Nice.
Thank you, Shane.
Nice work. Cool. Thank you, Ben. Next item is Cozy. So I think, so sorry, go ahead, Shane.
Oh, I see Tim has been reviewing that, so a lot of comments, which is good. But it looks like he wants the API to be simplified. He wants some of the like the BAR to be flattened. And also I think he's asking it to talk to SIG auth.
Yeah, I think he had concerns around what the integration with identity was going to look like, workload identity.
Okay.
So that makes sense. Okay, kept under API review, requesting simplification, requesting sync with SIG auth around workload identity. Okay, so this one is at risk. We'll keep an eye on it.
Right. So since this it's kind of out of tree, right? So we'll see.
Yeah.
We still have a chance of making it.
Next item is change block tracking.
Yeah, I think Fawn started working on CAP.
Any idea what the state of the CAP is in terms of review?
No, yeah. So I think we are going to discuss it in the next meeting. I will send an email to you, Saad.
Sounds good. Okay, next item is runtime assisted mounting. This is a design for the quarter. Deep is working on it. Anyone have an update on this?
Yeah, so I had a meeting on this with Jan. So he had he called out a lot of things to kind of look at based on the draft cap so far. So the next steps is to basically elaborate them as like caveats or limitations, and then have a meeting with all the leads from SIG Storage and Patrick and Jan to decide whether this would be direction we want to go in.
Awesome. Thank you, Deep, for driving that.
Sure.
All right. Next item is CSI Proxy for Windows transition to privileged containers.
Yeah, so for this,
go ahead.
we are working on sort of like a proposal for the next steps, mainly how to restructure the API a little bit. So CSI plugins can easily migrate from the proxy to the privileged level.
Cool. Okay. Next set of items is for CSI migration, starting with officially deprecating cloud provider plugins, sending out the emails about the deprecations and so on. Jiawei, any updates on that?
Yeah, I think I'm planning to do that. I think I'm just waiting for some more plugins to turn it on by default.
Got it. Okay. Next part of it is the core bugs and issues. Anything new there?
Yeah. There is one issue that I fixed. There's another one remaining I'm planning to fix.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. And then we can go over the cloud provider specific CSI migrations and get updates on that. First up is vSphere, and that's being remaining in beta, turning on by default. Devian, any updates?
Devian's probably not here. I think it's still the same. So basically, I think we're going to trying to get this Windows support in 2.4. So
got it.
Need to move that up. Other than that, I think there was also some questions on the NFS. That one is still not. I think we're waiting for the vSphere side. That's not the CSI driver issue.
Got it. Okay, so it sounds like there is dependencies that are currently in progress, but otherwise on track for 123.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to confirm, turning it on by default, like it doesn't actually need Windows, or Windows has to be ready.
I thought I was told that's blocking. That's
yeah, but I remember like that's a GA blocking, or
is it? Okay.
I need to double check on that.
Okay, like, yeah, maybe if you can actually clarify that in that document, because I was reading that there was a doc.
Okay.
This is Java, right?
Yeah.
You have a doc for each cloud provider. I think there were some notes about the vSphere driver. I thought this is the Windows is a blocker.
I think, to turn on by default, I think we want to be able to say, yes, we are confident that the driver has feature parity within tree. That's sort of the criteria for turning on by default.
Okay. So basically that Windows is required because we did have that earlier in each version.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We should probably not flip it on until we know that we have feature parity. Okay, next item is Azure Disk and Azure File. Andy, any updates on that?
So I think for Azure Disk, Andy has already had a PR out to turn it on by default, and I think he also had a PR to fix the tests. I think it's looking pretty good progress right now for Azure Disk.
Awesome. Okay. Any updates on Azure File?
Azure File, it's the same. Still wait for FS Group to go beta.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good. Next item is CSI Migration GCE.
Yeah, so with this, we have a plan with the GCP cloud provider to move the tests in KK, which sort of accidentally depend on GCE, over to the cloud provider GCP, and so that we can flip it on by default in 123. So just to be clear, what's going to happen is that this means that once it's on by default, GCE PD can't be used as a default storage class in any of the KK tests, even the ones that happen to run on GCE, although I guess KK is trying to move to run all its stuff on time. And all of the GCE specific tests will be in cloud provider GCP, which is where PDCSI will be switched on by default.
Got it.
We have a meeting with SIG Cloud Provider today to sort of discuss the E2E tests. But I think part of it is going to be that any test that depends on a default storage class will probably be disabled by default. Like we'll probably have to put a feature tag on it.
Right. Yeah.
And so this will impact testing on other clouds too, potentially.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. So one thing we were going to look into is if any of the these tests which have a default storage class could work with like a host path driver instead, which would be I think platform independent. But we'll probably want to decouple that from the migration launch anyway.
Makes sense. And for folks who are interested in following along, it sounds like best option would be to attend the SIG Cloud Provider discussion. All right, next item is AWS on by default. Any updates on that?
I haven't heard from Matthew. I'll follow up with him.
Sounds good. And next up is Ceph and Ceph RBD. Humble?
Yeah, it's progressing in good pace, Saad. But to mention, it's not straightforward as there are some incompatibility between the in-tree and the CSI driver storage class parameters and some resource like secret being different format. Regardless, making good progress on the testing and completed few scenarios successfully with migration on. I'm also in touch with Jan and figuring out how to address these gaps. So in short, this is on track and well in progress.
Okay, sounds good. So tested a few scenarios with migration on, working on incompatibilities. On track for alpha in 123. Awesome. That'll be huge. Thank you, Humble.
The cap not merged, right? We still.
It's not merged. Even the portworks and the RBD caps is not merged actually. I mean, are not merged.
Yeah, so I think we need.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think we'll need to file an exception.
Oh, Bay Area just got some alerts. Sorry, go ahead.
It's Michelle.
Sorry, I was trying to turn off my phone. I think we'll need to file an exception for the two caps. But basically, like there was a lot of confusion about the way we were trying to do the caps for the various CSI migration cloud providers, and so we'll need to, we'll need to get an exception for that.
Got it. Okay. And Humble, are you going to file the exception?
I think we can.
Filed that. Yeah.
Oh.
Good, Michelle.
Yeah, I think we can send an email for both because it impacts both the Ceph and Portworx ones.
Got it.
So I think I can file that.
Sounds good. Okay. Any other concerns about the cap other than getting that exception? Is there any changes needed, reviews needed, anything that's currently blocked?
Not at the moment, Saad.
Okay, sounds good.
Just for my, yeah.
All right, so we'll keep an eye out for that exception. Thank you, Humble. All right, so next up was Portworx. Looks like it's in the same position. Anything else to add there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to talk to Oksana today, see what the status is,
Got
and
it.
we'll go follow up with that.
Cool. Thank you, Luis. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Next up is always honor reclaim policy.
Yeah, the cap is merged.
Sweet. Next up, control volume mode conversation between source and target PVC.
I think Rona is on a long vacation, so I need to check. I'm not sure if he's back yet.
Okay. This is designed, so that should be fine, no problem. Next item is secret protection. Preventing deletion while in use depends on in-use protection kept below. I think there was a lot of feedback on this one.
Yep.
Misaki, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, cap is not yet merged. And as for the secret config map protection itself, the discussion went back to whether this feature needs to be implemented. So, yeah, it will be a big blocker. And as for generic in-use protection, which this feature plan to rely on, cap was mostly agreed in SIG API machinery. But however, there might be a blocker, so it might not be on alpha. So this also be a blocker for this cap. So we might skip for this release.
Got it. Okay. So let's clarify this. So generic in-use protection cap. So caps, both caps not merged yet. The generic in-use protection cap was the one that was dependent on the secret config map discussion. Got it.
Yes, it is at the last line of the list.
Got it. We'll hold off for 123 and try to push for 124. Okay, thank you, Misaki, for the update. I'm going to go ahead and stop tracking it for 123. Is that okay, or do you want to continue to track it as we make progress?
I would like to wait for a while.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll keep it here for now then.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update. Next is a set of items that are co-owned with SIG storage and other SIGs. First one is with SIG auth. This is user ID, ownership, and config map and secrets. Preserve the default file mode bits set in atomic writer volumes. Last status update here, there was a meeting, will turn into a cap. Did the cap get created yet? Any updates on that? Abhishek, are you on the line by any chance? Okay, we're going to mark that as no update. Next item is SIG node, ungraceful node shutdown, moving from prototype to alpha. Xing?
Yeah, so we're actually not going to move that to alpha. So we actually had a meeting with the SIG node, trying to understand how graceful node shutdown is supposed to work. And then so it turned out that there are some commands, some shutdown commands will be recognized by Kubernetes, but others are not. And also there's a regression in 1.22. So in 1.21, if the shutdown signal is detected, it actually looks like it's behaving correctly. But then in 1.22, they changed the port status. In 1.21, they basically mark the port to be port failed. In 1.22, they don't do that anymore. So it's actually not working properly. Yeah, so we will be working with the Signal, trying to figure out the issues with the existing graceful node shutdown.
Got it.
Yeah, and then before working on the non-graceful node shutdown. So
Okay.
without this one first.
That makes sense. So basically, this is on hold until we fix the regressions. Do you want to continue to track it for this quarter or for this cycle?
Yeah, it's not alpha anymore. So
okay. So maybe change it to prototype or design.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for that update, Xing. Next item is with SIG node as well. Enable usernames in kubelet so UIDs get shifted, aka rootless mode, moving from alpha to beta. Hemant, any updates on this one?
No, I don't have any update. I haven't, like, the feature is targeting beta or something this quarter, but I haven't taken a look at it.
Okay, let's mark this as no update and see if we could follow up with it offline. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next item is with SIG apps. PVCs created by stateful set will not be auto removed. Fixing that behavior. Last status update here. This should be on track. Any updates, Matt?
Yeah, thanks to Michelle for keeping me honest about getting the KEP updated. So I was able to get that. So we're all set in terms of the KEP for doing alpha in 123. The implementation and API changes were reviewed last cycle, and I think we have consensus on the implementation. And I'm just trying to confirm that, and if so, we should be able to get the code in pretty quick. So with time to spare before the code series.
Awesome. So it's on track for approval, but we're waiting for approval. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Matt. Next item is also co-owned with SIG apps, volume expansion for stateful sets. KK?
I think KK is not working on this anymore.
I see.
Shalini picked up and I think she updated the cap. She actually submitted a new cap. We need some reviews. So Hemant, if you have time.
Yeah, well, it's a design goal, so I was planning to review it after the cap freeze, so I'll review it.
Okay, all right, thanks.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Hemant. Thank you, Xing. Next items are co-owned by SIG Storage, SIG Apps, and SIG Node, which makes it even harder to get it moving along. Execution hook for application snapshots, Xing?
Yeah, this isn't, I don't think it's going to make it. So we did get SIG Node folks to review it. They still have a lot of concerns. I think the blocking thing is mainly with some comments from Clayton from the API reviewer side. So that's the one that I think we couldn't get that resolved. And also we got some questions on why we are not doing a CRD. So we're going back, running this in circles.
Yeah. This will be a fun one.
This is not from Clayton. The CRD one is not from Clayton. Clayton's question is, I'm not quite sure how to resolve that. I think Tim is trying to help there, but I think we don't really have enough time to get that resolved.
Okay, so let's go ahead and change this to design for the quarter.
Okay.
All right, thank you for the update, Xing. Next item is with SIG scheduling, prioritization on volume and capacity, moving from alpha to beta. Any updates on this item? Michelle, do you happen to have any updates here?
I don't think this is going to make progress for this release, so we'll have to defer it.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and remove it so we stop tracking it. All right, last item we have is co-owned with SIG API machinery. It's in-use protection, Masaki. I think this is a duplicate of the item above. Is that right, or is this different?
Oh, it is it is dependent from the secret.
Okay.
Yeah, protection, and
So,
yeah, CAPE
yeah.
was not yet merged, but mostly agreed. And we are discussing whether making the new field a sub-resource is a blocker for alpha.
Okay. And does the CAP look like it's on track to being merged, or any major blockers?
Yeah, this is only the blocker. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So one thing I'm going to do is just move this up so it's next to the other item.
Yeah, looks nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for the update, Misaki. So that was the last item. We can go ahead and switch back to the agenda doc and see if there's any other items that need attention. Anybody on the call want to raise anything, PRs to discuss, design reviews? If not, we can talk about this last item here. Okay, so I think a few weeks ago there was a question raised about SIG storage face-to-face meetup at KubeCon North America. That's coming up in October. There's a question of who's planning to attend. I believe Xing at least is going to be there. Anyone else on the call planning to attend?
Poor Xing.
Right, I'll be the only one there.
You're representing us. Okay, so I think Xing, maybe you were still planning to do some sort of meet and greet, right, for folks who might end up there? Or is that still?
It's going to be just like a general one, right? So I'll see. I think the contributor summit is organizing something, so I'll just see. You know, they probably have an area for people to meet, so we don't need like a separate one for SIG storage. It's going to be like a general one, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I actually really miss the KubeCons. I hope you know, once things get a little bit better and we get better attendance, we can all do another big face-to-face meeting. I miss those. So that's all I had for the meeting today. Any other items to discuss? Otherwise, we can end a little bit early today. Going once. Going twice.
If you have a time, I'd like to discuss about secret protection.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Currently, yeah, as I mentioned, whether it should be implemented or not is a big blocker for this CAPE. So, could you check the chat window?
Yeah, hang on. Okay.
Yeah, this one.
So I guess for background, for folks who are not familiar with this, the proposal, Masaki, do you want to explain the proposal, and then we can talk about Jordan's comment here?
I think I would appreciate it if you could explain.
Sure. So as I understand it, kind of one of the challenges that some CSI drivers face is in cleanup, because they depend on a secret, and if that secret, for some reason, the user accidentally deleted it, then it prevents Kubernetes from being able to clean up the volume. And the proposal here is trying to implement logic that would prevent either a config map or a secret that's currently in use from being deleted. And the comment from Jordan Liggett is really about kind of the complexity and performance trade-off. So he says, I'm pretty skeptical about the complexity and performance cost of this feature relative to its benefit. The primary use case seems to be around preventing deletion of secrets used to administer volumes backing PVCs, but I think those could be placed in alternative namespaces to avoid issues, and limiting what is placed in the PVC namespace helps preserve PVC abstraction and avoid exposing unnecessary details about volume implementation. And so I think I was taking a look at this. My comment was just, that on the CSI spec side, we kind of anticipated this as a concern and specifically did not put secrets on the node on stage and node unpublished volume requests to try and prevent this use case. I think, Masaki, you're pointing out that while that's true, for the controller side of things, they do accept secrets. So even if you can unmount the volume from kubelet, complete cleanup of the volume could still be blocked. So that's, I think, where we are. Anyone have comments, discussions?
That's a good point. I'm coming in blind to this, but if the user has a secret that they use for that PVC they created, it will be hard to put that secret in a different namespace. Because from their point of view, they are working on that namespace and the PVC is on that namespace, so they put the secret and things like that in it. So.
Saad, in the CSS spec, why is this requirement only for node on stage, node on publish, but not for those controller side cleanup?
I think that was like the minimum requirement, was just being able to clean up the node itself. Having stuck mounts on nodes in the past was a huge concern, so we prevented it there. On the controller side, I think we tried very hard not to have it on delete or detach, but we got a big pushback from the community to say, hey, we have backends that have secrets that are specific per volume, and if you don't give us a secret, it simply wouldn't work. So it was a compromise to say, okay, fine, we'll stick it in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. That's how ours work, because we don't want the malicious deletion of your data, but you can unmount it, but you cannot maliciously delete it. So.
Okay.
So for me, I like this step. I think it's good. I just what can I do to help out?
I think the big question is really about the complexity of the implementation. Okay. And so if we can take a look and see if we can try and simplify it, that would be a way to move it forward.
Okay.
I guess one question that maybe came up was like, is this something that we actually need to do automatically, or is this something that users can go and add manually if they want this?
Yes, this is a good point. Actually, generic in-use protection cap that I'm discussing with SIG API machinery is for that purpose. So we may be able to say users to use that feature.
What is the kind of likelihood of that getting approved?
Yeah, I think the cap is mostly agreed. The broker is just implementation.
Got it.
Detail.
That seems like a decent workaround then. So for the cases that the users really care about this, they could leverage that generic in-use functionality once it's available. What would the drawbacks of that be?
The user may require automatic addition and removal of such mechanism.
Basically, it's a user experience question. Like you're trying to protect the user from the user, and if the user doesn't do this, they're not going to protect themselves.
I mean, it could be just a good first step, right? Just having the ability is already a good step in the direction, right? And then actually writing a controller to like automate it is a sort of a second step.
That's true.
Michelle, are you suggesting only have a user opt in and then they remove it themselves, but not writing a controller in the first step?
Yes, because I guess one thing is like I guess one possible implementation for a controller could be similar to the storage protection one, where it's like if we see pods that are using it, we won't allow deletion. But that doesn't necessarily solve the case where like the user, just accidentally deleted everything. And, even though even though there might not be pods using it, they may still want to retain it. So I think that's something that having a controller wouldn't really support that use case.
Yes.
So if the in-use tab is merged, then we're all set, right? We don't have to do anything here because this one is proposing to write some controllers, this cap.
So I wanted to make sure I capture, Michelle, your comment. You said basically one of the use cases is that the user may want to decouple the lifecycle of the secret from the volume, and kind of manually would actually allow that versus automation would not.
Yeah, I think it's basically like the controller would the proposed controller would see if there are any pods using it, but it might still be that even if there are no pods running right now at this instance, the user might still want to have protection on it. Like it just might be that all the pods restarted for some reason.
Got it. Okay, and then Xing, sorry, can you reiterate your comment?
Oh, I was just based on what Michelle was saying, then looks like if the in-use cap is merged, the one that this one depends on, then we already have that, right? So user can just use that directly.
Exactly.
We don't really need, because this cap is proposing to write some controllers.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Okay.
So what does it mean if in-use cap is merged? So what user need to manually add finalizer?
Not finalizer, just I think there are some examples here actually. Masaki have that in this cap. Just even with this cap, users still need to add those, I think, right? Is that right, Masaki? You're more familiar with your own cap.
Yeah. Yes. So the here's a cap. It is introduced a new concept, region. It is similar to finalizer, but a bit different. It blocks the deletion request itself, not the deletion request to complete as finalizer do. And this cap utilizes the VM feature, and this cap is only focused on the deletion order issue, not the protect every important resources, as Michelle pointed out. So user just care about the deletion order. This cap is very useful.
And also everything proposed in this particular cap is actually out of tree, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's more important to get the other one in. Then maybe we can start just trying out to see how that one works.
Yeah, that does seem like the best option, is to focus on the generic and use cap, get that merged, encourage users to use that, and then we can come back and revisit the necessity of this one.
I agree.
Yeah, then, yeah. We can, yeah. Oh.
I just want to ask, do we have a link for that new feature you mentioned?
Oh, the link is actually also in the tracking sheet.
It's called use the reference?
In use, yeah. If you search for in use in that spreadsheet, our spreadsheet, you can, I think it's.
It's this one here, 2839.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments on this? Any concerns? Okay.
So in-use,
sorry, go ahead.
Is it alpha feature or? It's,
yeah, the in-use one, that's alpha. That's
it's targeting
alpha. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Masaki, for the discussion. Any other comments on this? Concerns? Okay. Any other areas to discuss? We have a couple minutes left. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.